Buckety. Let's go racing, boys and girls. Girls can go racing at Dover on the cement at Dover. We welcome in to the fast lane once again our good friend, Jeff Owens, longtime NASCAR reporter, now in the world of card collecting, expensive card collecting, and I guess selling expensive cards. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, guys. How you doing?
We're great, man. Let's flash back to last week. I asked Josh Harris on Tuesday. I mean, you know, you're a NASCAR guy, and were you on the edge of your seat? Do you stand up and yell when you got that kind of finish? How about you? Were you up on your feet and yelling, or what were you doing as that one played out?
Well, I wouldn't say I was up on my feet, but I was probably on the edge of my seat a little bit. I thought it was great. I mean, I thought the last 20, 30 laps was as good as you can get, and then you got just a fantastic finish at the end, and, of course, you had a wreck. You can't have a great Talladega finish without a wreck, I don't think. But it was great. I mean, great move by Tyler Reddick on the outside there when those two cars got together. And I thought that Talladega race had everything you want in that kind of race. I thought it was great.
Yeah. We're going to work in draft picks amongst our questions to you. So the Bills have taken Florida State receiver Keon Coleman with the first pick of this round, part of that trade they got with the Panthers yesterday. So had to be huge for NASCAR. First of all, the place looked packed. So it looked like they did a great job selling tickets. Got to believe TV-wise it did well. I haven't seen the numbers, but got to think it did well. And it doesn't hurt to have MJ there to celebrate a win and be put on television to tell people how much he loves NASCAR, how much he loves this sport, how much he loves winning, and how much he loves racing.
Yeah, I got a feeling we'll see that scene in some commercials pretty soon. But a great moment for the sport. I mean, he's there at the track, on occasion on most weeks, but first time his team had ever won when he was there, and that just created a great moment. I thought Fox did a great job of interviewing him, and what a cool moment when he picked up Tyler's kid there and was carrying him around. And, I mean, NASCAR couldn't have asked for any better exposure than that, to have him do that. That was a great moment.
No question. What about the finish? What about the moves, the attempted blocking, the moves that led to the wreck, the move by Tyler Reddick just to kind of remain patient, wait for his opportunity? And how many times do we see at Talladega, Daytona, the guy who's kind of sitting there third or fourth and in position to avoid the mess finds the hole and gets to the checkered flag?
Yeah, he was just sitting there waiting. You knew it was going to happen. You knew they were going to make a move and they were going to block, and a good chance they're going to get together right there. So he just sort of laid back in third and waited for it to happen, and it did. And great move. I mean, how many times have we seen that at Talladega? If they don't finish three wide, they wreck at the finish line. And just a great finish. And Tyler Reddick was just patient and waiting on it, and it fell right in his lap.
Jeff, not to be Debbie Downer here, but to be fair, the first two-thirds of that race were about as boring as super speedway racing can be. And there's actually a debate going on right now. There's actually a debate going on right now as to whether or not, because of the fuel-saving debate that we're starting to see at Talladega and also at Daytona, do they need to add an additional stage to maybe break some of that up? What are your thoughts on that possibility, and is that something NASCAR should do to maybe spice up the first, say, two-thirds of those races? Because you're right, the finish on Sunday was outstanding. Everything leading up to it, not so much.
Yeah, no, you're right, and I suspect they'll take a look at that. There's been a lot of conversation and debate about that this week. I'm not sure what you're going to do though to fix it. Maybe get rid of the stages altogether and just sort of let the race play out. I think the stages is sort of what is causing this to begin with, because you got guys saving fuel. The longer you can last, the better position you're going to be, and you're going to cycle through at the front. And that's what you're trying to do, to get those stage points. So get rid of the stages and just let the race flow naturally. Now, I'm not sure they wouldn't have settled down and just, ridden around for a while anyway. They want to stay out of trouble. Something bad's going to happen eventually. So, but, whatever rule you throw out there, these guys are going to figure it out, and they're going to figure out a way around it. And, that's kind of how we got to this point. What they do, I'm not sure. Maybe get rid of the stages altogether, but they got to address it. There's too much talk about it, and I don't think they want to see that when we go back there.
A couple of things drivers-wise. First off, Eric Jones' injury, so he'll not be on the car this weekend. Corey Heim is going to replace him in May for a couple of races. How do you think that affects that team? And normally when we went to Dover in the past, you'd look at the 48 and say he's the favorite, and then the rest of the field. Jimmy Johnson is back. He's not driving the 48. Does he have a legitimate shot to even run in the top 10 this weekend at a place he dominated throughout his career?
Yeah, I don't think so. It's not the same team. He's not the same driver. He's not really in a combination or at a point in his career where I think he can go up there and run at the front anymore. He could run well. I would expect that he'll probably run better there than anywhere else he will, because he did dominate there for so many years. But I just don't think they got the team right now to be in contention like that. But, yeah, it's going to be a good race. Dover's a tough track. It's going to be fast, and we'll see what happens.
Thoughts about Eric Jones not racing at least this week, perhaps even longer, and how that might affect his team?
Yeah, that's going to be a setback for them because, Eric's been around a while. He's won some races. I'm sure he's run well at Dover. He won at Darlington twice. That right there tells you what kind of driver he is. So, when you're in a situation like that, there's nobody really you can put in a car who's going to be as good as he is. Same thing that happened with Chase Elliott last year, and we saw his team fall a little bit behind when Chase wasn't in the car. So you would expect the same thing to happen here. That's a bad blow for him and the team. Hopefully he won't be out too long. We haven't really heard yet. A couple of weeks maybe. Maybe it won't be that long and he can get back. But that's a tough break for him and the team, no question about it.
Back to the NFL draft. Chargers select Ladd McConkey, second pick, second round, wide receiver from Georgia. Now back to Jeff Owens in the fast lane. One thing, Chris asked you the question about Jimmy Johnson coming back and driving. Every so often, Dale Jr. will hop in the car, maybe on the Xfinity series. I guess maybe not so much on the top series. But I mean, it's sort of like Tiger Woods. I look at I guess people love when Tiger Woods. That sounds like a real flush. Some people love Tiger Woods when he plays, but it's becoming more and more evident that he doesn't play enough golf, and he's not going to be competitive. He might throw a round together, but he's not going to be competitive in the majors. At least that's what it looks like right now. And Jimmy Johnson, he's not on the team that people were used to seeing, and he only races every so often. My point is, your skills, they kind of go away, they erode. What's the point? I mean, my point is, what's the point? Why? Tell me what the point is.
Well, I think he just loves it, and I think he doesn't want to completely step away. I think he gets something out of it physically to go out there. He was a guy who kept himself in incredible shape throughout his career, did all sorts of different sports, ran some marathons, that kind of thing, and I think he just wants to stay active and stay in it. Plus, he's investing a little bit in that team. He owns a portion of that team. It's good for him to be out there in front, getting sponsors, competing. That's only going to bring more money into their team and help them build it up. So I think there's and we've seen guys, too, that just can't step away. Mark Martin raced till he was 50, 55, I think. Some of them just have that bug and they can't step away, and I think that's probably the case for him, at least right now.
All right, sir. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the race at Dover. We'll talk to you next week. Always good stuff.
Jeff, thank you.
Okay, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks.